In the last video we had moved all the track around the top end here and changed the points, etc. My next task is to do something with that corner. I've got a few ideas and I'll show you exactly what I think. So at the end of the station building there's a car park for taxis and people to pick up. This is where the buses pull in and pick up customers. This bit here will be the goods yard. So we now have to have a road going across the tracks to into infinity. So my idea is to, obviously there's going to be a level crossing there, as you can see when it's made. I'd like to put something like a disused track. So by having a line that comes round here, I aim to stop it just there and then have it sort of almost like a tumbling down end of a wall, which would be there, and so that's the track that's finished. There will not be a track on it, but it'll be debris, etc., because it's totally deserted. So that's the general idea. I put all the trees around to give you some idea of what it could look like. The signal box will be there controlling the level crossing. The buses will come up through there, etc. So that's the whole idea of the landscaping. This corner where the bridge is going to be in the roadway and the level crossing, etc. I've started it off by making a template in paper so that I've got a mark out for where I want to put the cardboard. I then transferred this onto 2.5mm, here we go, sorry, 2.5mm, oh, that's where I left my glasses, cardboard. And what this does, when it's pushed back into position properly, it actually comes up about 2.5mm, so we're almost level with the sleepers. On top of that, where's the scrap bit I had? Hang on. The roadway from the bridge is going to be, again, 2.5mm cardboard, and then on top of that will be another 2.5mm cardboard, which is going to bring that up flush with the top of the rail, so it goes smooth across as it should do. Now this is all temporary. I'm just mucking about with that. It's not to fit properly at all. So that's where we're starting with producing this corner. So this is the first piece of properly cut card that fits tight against the rail and goes back to there. So that's that bit installed. I then did some roadway. Now it doesn't look much, but you put that there, and then the roadway that goes on the front, which is that bit there, and then the construction I made, which is going to go there. It does all fit. My double-decker bus, which is the only one that comes down. It only comes down once a day, this particular service. The rest of the time we've got the normal single deckers. So that's that bit done. I also cut a piece of tarmac to go in there. I think that's the wrong bit, never mind, but you get the idea. So I cut a bit to go in there. I also cut a bit here that will fit in there. Pieces of card will go underneath it. So we're going to get the transition of, we're going tarmac, track, tarmac, track, tarmac, and that's going to come round here. The other things that I've done, I'm going to be putting these plaster walls, and they're just going to go like that for embankment sort of fitting. And then my other track will go across the top of that. This will be covered up because you've got to imagine that something like that, barrier of some sort, is going to go there when it stands up. I put a bit of paper in there, and we're running my nail up and down over the rail and then into where the sleeper heads are. I've managed to get that bit of paper down to a reasonable, what I hope is going to be the correct thing. And just to show you how to transfer a thin piece of paper onto a bit of card so you can cut it accurately. I've done this already, but as you can see, if you just run your chisel felt tip pen along, when you remove it, you've got an exact line to cut to. So you do that on both sides and you've got an accurate line to cut to. And then obviously you'll just clear that up a bit better with sandpaper to do the final fit. Now the tarmac I'm using is TX20 by scalescenes.com, and it really is quite nice. Lots of deviations and horrible little marks, and it definitely 1947 tarmac that hasn't been repaired since before the war. So that's all glued down now. I put a pavement in there from one of my old kits. Pico level crossing. That's at an angle because I had to try and get it so you could walk out of that and onto a pavement. Road wasn't big enough. So obviously he's waiting to come in. That one's just dropped off and he's on his way out. And the level crossing clears. These roadways have now been stuck down, so they're finished. None of this is connected. This is where this side of the level crossing is going to be. My problem is that I've got a height there that's got to come down to a low height there because this has already been done. So what I've had to do is as follows. This is a bit of paper from cereal packet, so that's one, and then I build it up, so that's another layer, there's another layer, and what we've done, we're gradually stepping back, so that steps back to there, that steps back, this now gets close to the height, whoops, come back. This is very roughly. And then the last one, another cereal packet, that will go on top, and on top of that will be, which way around does it go? This way. So there is the tarmac. Now tarmac sheets aren't that big, so I've got to do another bit in there to link up, so that hopefully it doesn't show a gap, but you know, there's no telling how that's going to work. I don't think it's going to be perfect, to be very honest with you, but that's where we're going. What I've also done, but I don't think you can see it, I've sandpapered off these leading edges, so when they are down like that, it's not going to be such a definite line. My idea for this corner has always been to get a disused railway line, so the track would go up there, then into a tunnel and scenery, etc. And to be very honest with you, I've been thinking about it for so long, I haven't worked out how to do it. But today I decided to cut some 100mm blocks of 2x2 timber as my base, and then continued. So we got some thin MDF, which during the summer, this MDF was used as a sort of box from a well-known supermarket for carrying strawberries. And then I thought, put another one of those across there. We can adjust this slightly, it's not a problem. And then the tunnel would go something like that. The bit of disused track would be roughly in that position, and then you'd finish it off by putting the sides of this disused bridge on. So that is how I'm thinking about it at the moment, and luckily it all looks quite good. The bus coming through, the level crossing in the right place, and when you get a train going through, it looks quite good. I'm quite happy with it. All I've got to do now is fill all the gaps with some form of polystyrene or whatever I'm going to do. It's another one of those sort of building it as you're thinking about it jobs. At the last minute I decided to clad the two uprights next to the track with stonework. Now what I chose is the wheels are coarse stone. I just bent it round crudely, I must admit, but I hope it'll be okay after I've painted. The first one I've done is here, all clamped up. Now that is going to, that's with PVA, so it's glued with PVA, and I'm hoping tomorrow morning it will be set and okay, and then I can do number 2, which is being stretched in the elastic bands, as you can see. I tried to create the illusion of depth on this bridge, so this is what I have ended up doing. That's the track bed. So this is the lift out section, and I put balsa wood as sections in there, and then I glued some plastic strip girders on top just to give it that depth. So when you actually go underneath where the train goes underneath, you will see some form of metalwork holding up the bridge up. I'm going to spray it black now. Something else I've completed, I've just made the sort of sleepers in triangle form, as they do to stop pedestrians walking on it, and all the trains go over it quite well, so I'm quite pleased with that. Horrible trying to cut the matchstick in half though, but we did it. So we've had a bit more movement on this bridge thing. I've put some sleepers down. I had an old bit of track, and so I ripped out the rail and all the sleepers broke apart, so I've stuck them down in sections, and by the time I've got some gravel on there and grass, it's going to look okay, he said, hopefully. But then he realised it wouldn't be okay eventually, because although he stuck them down with PVA, unfortunately when he then realised, I realised, of course I did, that I needed to cut out the section just in the middle. So that little tie there, you can see that little tie there, and in between the sleepers really. Right, so those have got to be cut out. So I tried, and unfortunately it moved everything. So what I've got to do now, I'm going to take all of this up, and I'm going to cut all of the joins between the two sleepers, and then put the sleepers down individually with super glue. Yeah, wish me luck. So I've trimmed all the sleepers. I use the plastic cutter just to cut the bits on the other side, and then the Dremel plus these tweezers to hold the bits and pieces as I was super gluing them in. So that's the story so far. I'm now going to try and put rust paint in the chairs where the lines would be, and then I shall start doing some ballasting. Using my homemade grass applicator. There's lots of instructions on YouTube on how to make these. It's okay, not as perfect as the £40 ones, but you know, for a £5 it's quite good. All I did here, I painted on PVA where I wanted it, and then on top of that I just discharged lots of this grass just by shaking it over. But you have to have an element here which is your earthing, so you have that somewhere around there touching the glue and stuff, and then you can do it. And the one thing you must do when you finish using this homemade applicator, you must earth it like this. Why didn't that work? Hang on. Take two. Okay, so after you use your applicator, okay, you should then earth it like this. So now it's quite safe to touch. Well, I didn't do any ballasting, I just did some grass work on there. This is just set up as a dummy, nothing permanent. Today's date is the 5th of November, and the last time I was out here in my shed doing anything on the railway was at the end of July. We've had a few personal things going on, which meant there was no time to do anything. So this is going to be the end of this particular video, because it's gone on a little bit too long, and when I get back into the swing of it, which hopefully is going to be the next couple of weeks, I'm going to do a lot more work on the back, the landscaping at the back, and I'll try and get this all done at the back so that'll look better. The back across there, coming down here, sorting out what I'm going to do in this area. I have a different signal box, a ratio kit that I've got to make as well. And across here, somehow I've got to do a background before it comes over into this section of what will be the main platform and the main station area. I've got some photographs, but I'm not sure if I'm going to have it photographically done or with paint pot. So that'll be it for the moment. Next video should come up in maybe sometime in the next month. Hope you all have a good weekend and happy modelling.